Hey, Rockstars, welcome to another No Bullshit podcast for contractors. I'm super excited about this one because I'll tell you what, we're going to show you how Stephane, Savoie 10x'd his profits. That's no joke, 10x'd his profits from a guy that was thinking about shutting down his contracting business. We're going to show you how he did that, where he came from, where he's at now, where he's headed, the strategies, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be a game changer for you guys to listen in on. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class. They call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit podcast for contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life.
All right, everybody, welcome to another No Bullshit podcast for contractors. I'm here with Stephane, and Stephane has an awesome roofing company. And what we're going to be talking about today is how he literally 10x'd his profits. It's going to be no bullshit. We're going to talk about, the specifics of what he did, where things were at. Stephane, welcome, my man.
Hey, how are you, Andrew?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing absolutely awesome, especially since you're on this podcast here with me.
Glad to be here. Second time. So it's a lot of things have changed since the first time. So
yeah. So let's go back in time and just, so that people can understand your type of business. So like what kind of work that you do. And then we'll get into a little bit around, what were some of the challenges and how you overcame some of these challenges to 10x your profits. Sound like a plan?
Sure. Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your company.
So Belvue Roofing, so we operate out of New Brunswick, Canada. We've been operating since 2016 and came to the point where I thought about either we're going to close the company because we didn't make enough profit. We didn't make any debt, but not enough profit to work our asses off all the time. And I had to find something to change that because I knew that I could be profitable. I knew that the core values of our company were good. Just needed to put how are we going to make some profit. And lo and behold, I stumbled upon you guys in 2018. Didn't take the plunge at that time, but come 2020, I took the plunge, and 2021, we were able to 10x our revenue, net revenue, not just gross revenue, net revenue in our pockets at home.
Net profits.
And profits, net profit, absolutely. And that was the mindset that we needed to change, the education that I received in regards to how to run a business properly.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where there were some of these leaks in profit. Okay. So where were some of the holes? And we'll just maybe just highlight, maybe the top three or four holes in what I call your bucket of profit. So tell me a little bit about where were some of the holes, and then we can talk about what were some of the solutions.
So I think that the first major hole is we weren't taking into account what it costs to run a business,
yes.
Right? We were just applying a 20% all around margin on everything. And then after that, hoping for the best that we were going to make a profit off of it. Lo and behold, came 3%, 2%, 8%. That wasn't profitable. So the biggest thing that I've seen is essentially knowing how to quote your business, how to quote your jobs, talking about labor burden. So what do you give back to the government because you owe that money, right? Your overhead costs. What is the percentage of your gross revenue that goes towards your operating costs, your gas, your insurance, and all that thing that we don't think of. And lo and behold, after that was essentially applying a profitable margin on that. That was really a net profit. And not just looking at 20% down the road and hoping for the best. Now I know exactly how much I'm going to make on the job, and also the back costings. Those are the three pillars of, knowing how to price well, knowing how your margin or your profit margin is going to be applied, and also what is your real cost? What is your real profit when you do back costing? And that was an eye opener in itself.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. There's going to be a lot of contractors listening in. And by the way, if you're listening in and you don't think that this applies to you and you're a contractor, what would you have to say to that, Stephane?
Man, you have your head in the sand if you don't think that this applies to you, because I would say 95% of contractors out there do not know how to quote properly. And that is why we struggle to make money, not just to pay our salaries and things like that, but really to make money and be able to enjoy life and be free, free of the hassle of cash flow and all that stuff, and really be able to have a reputable company that makes money, because not just chasing your tail after the $1 that profit that you can make, right? So it makes it sustainable. It makes you love your company again. That's the most important thing, right? And gives you time back for family.
It's huge. I mean, that's a lot, man. You covered off a lot in a short period of time. Which is impressive in the sense of how much progress that you've made and where you were at in the beginning. I mean, everybody listening in, think about this. He's 10x'd his profits, his bottom line profits. And he was thinking about shutting his doors. So you're probably listening in. There's probably a lot of contractors out there going like, is this something that, that could be real for them as well? Why do you think that any contractor that puts their mind to it, that this is going to work for them?
Well, if you have to make sure that you have the proper tools in place to be able to guide your company towards this ultimate goal, right? Of essentially your company being able to run itself without essentially you being there. Right. A lot of contractors still have their tool belts on, and they're not working on the business. They're working in the business. Well, when you work in the business, it does not evolve. You always do the heavy lifting. You always struggle on the Friday to get the payrolls out. Where are my receipts? Things like that. And you don't know your numbers. That is the most important thing, is to know your numbers. How much do I make in 3 months? And revise that every 3 months. You have to learn these tools. And there's tools out there with Profit for Contractors that they will learn. Having the proper CRM. Not all CRMs are built the same, right? Having the proper bookkeeper, accountant, CFO or virtual CFO or part-time CFO, your payroll, having that all heavy lifting removed from you. And I thought I'd never been able to do it, because I just said, no, I can't afford it. I can't afford a bookkeeper. I can't afford a payroll. And I was able to, and hire an operations manager in-house all the time. So if you don't do it, you'll never meet that goal of getting your business to run properly.
So this is what you're talking about, is a mindset shift.
Absolutely.
Right. And if somebody's listening in and like they're trying to grasp, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you go from being on the tools to getting this knowledge to being able to use these profits to pay for your freedom? Right. So when you looked at this wasn't a magic wand. It wasn't a magic pill, was it? You had to do the work. Agreed?
Absolutely. 5 a.m. in the morning till 12 o'clock at night.
Right. Okay. So everybody listening in, I want you to understand, this is no magic pill.
No,
this is not like somebody, if you guys came to us or something along those lines, or, in some form or fashion, that we're just going to hand you this magic pill. You're going to take these tools and these insights and these principles, and you're just going to be like, oh my God, everything's good to go. It still takes a lot of work and effort. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So essentially, before, we did not have the systems in place, all the automations that we have, because everybody, and myself included, everything was in my brain, right? So everything that I needed to do had to go through me. Having the proper CRM, we were able to implement automation and all that stuff for a operations manager to be able to come in and do all my quoting and things like that. So that is heavy lifting that I don't need to do anymore. So now I can focus more on customers and how we can better serve them in that regards. How can I automate even more the process to be able to get from my website that I'm receiving leads from my website comes in automated into my CRM, and I am able to filter them fast and get a quote out as quickly as possible so they don't have to wait, right? So,
yeah. So I want to be clear with everybody. There is a ton of and I'm not bullshitting this. I mean, Stephane can comment to this, but there's a ton of investment that's happened on, behind the scenes at Profit for Contractors to bring the systems, bring the tools, to bring the automation. At the same token, I'm not going to bullshit anybody. Even after all that hundreds and hundreds of hours been put in by my team, especially with Jay and what have you. So Jay, if you're listening in, big kudos out to you, brother. You still have to implement it, right? Like you have to take ownership. Let's talk about taking ownership.
Yep.
Like if you're looking at this, what was the mental switch that you had to have the fortitude to say, I'm willing, even though all this stuff is being given to me, I'm willing to put in the necessary time to make this shit happen. What was it?
Well, first of all, it's coming out of your comfort zone, right? Mm-hmm. Because all of this is new stuff, right? So once you get out of your comfort zone and you get into the mindset that you want to do this, that you have no choice to do this, then it becomes easier. But lo and behold, it does not happen by itself. I've put many hours. I have a day job over and above my company that I have. And if you don't put the hours in, it's nothing better than if you write it on a piece of paper and the piece of paper stays there. Oh, Jay always says an SOP is only as good as how you implement it.
Absolutely.
Right? Or it's not worth the paper that you wrote it on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to have something that you want to implement, and you have to take baby steps, right? You can't change everything like that. Right. You have to take step by step, and Jay, again, is still my mentor of every day. I rely on him because he's done the dirty work. He's fallen off and gotten back up, right? He's done all the errors that we don't want to do. And Profit for Contractors bring that in the envelope of, we are going to support you with all the tools that you need. But like you say, not a magic pill. You have to be able to work. You have to want it. You have to want it more than closing a business, right? You will have to want it more than that.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And just so that everybody understands from a contextual perspective, Jay is, one of the partners here at Profit for Contractors, and he owns his own contracting company with the support of Profit for Contractors and principles and insights and things of that nature. He was actually a client of Profit for Contractors at one point. Yeah. And that evolved. He brought a lot of the systems and evolved those systems into his own contracting company, whereby his contracting company runs by himself.
Yep.
Okay. So, and he's actually the CEO here at Profit for Contractors. So I just want everybody to know that you can listen to a lot of advice. And by the way, go get help by somebody else. I got no issues with that, but get help. Get help with people who have been there, are doing it and have done it, and it's working. Okay. Not some sort of like, hey, I got this idea, type of thing. So, if you're looking at this from a perspective of, we talked about back costing, we talked about things of that nature. What were some of the aha moments that you had when you started looking at your quotes, when you started back costing, from a team perspective, from a quoting perspective? What were some of the aha moments you had?
Well, first of all, the team, what I enjoy with Profit for Contractors is that I'm not the first one to take the plunge, right? Other people have done that, and they give their support as what has gone well and what has gone not so well. So that was one of the things where a lot of people, and I find even more and more now as we get more in deep into this revamping of our businesses, that there's much more people within PFC that have experience, that have been, I've been here for a year and a half. So I have a lot of experience now with going through PFC and a lot of guys. But my aha moment, and I had probably two. The first one was the back costing and the quoting. That for me, it became a reality. And mind you, Andrew, the first time that I said a quote the way that we do it now, I was nervous as shit to go see that customer, because I said, there's no way in hell that customer will ever sign my contract at that price. And Jay said, and one of my mentors, Mark, said, if you believe in your price, you believe in your product, do not back down. And I went there and I was $8,000 higher than the closest bid, and I won that contract. And from that day, I have not looked back, and that's a year ago now. So that was the first aha moment. The second aha moment is when we introduced the automation of it. As to, I went on vacation for 2 weeks and I came back and there was no fires to put out. Everything was working perfectly. I had 2 calls while I was on vacation. And that for me said, yeah, this is the way to go, because if I don't do this, when I'm gone, the company will stop. And I don't want that. So the employees, they need to continue on. Everybody in my family that, I have to support, that has to continue on. I just can't go on vacation and nothing happens, right? So that was the aha moment of automation that we have created, being able to give me the freedom to go on vacation for 2 weeks and receive only 2 phone calls. So that was like, woof, yes, sir.
And everybody listening in, when we're talking about automation, like we're talking, one of the biggest challenges out there, and you might be like, really, you can automate that? Is the hiring, right? Yes. Is the hiring, right? So guys, there is a way to automate this so that, and maybe, Stephane, you can talk about the benefits, but, I'd say one of the biggest things is what Stephane is saying, that, you don't have to be there. And the response that people get, either it being a prospective client, prospective new hire, whatever it is that you're systematizing, right, and automating, is better than you could ever give yourself. And people are like, I don't want to automate this. I need to be on the phone. I need to do the email. I need to. Okay. Tell us a little bit about that, about, the benefits of the automating and some of the limiting beliefs that people have around it.
What was happening when we were getting quotes, and a lot of quotes, because in these COVID times and post-COVID times, we're getting a lot of demand. And what would happen is that our quotation, we would send a quote out, but we would never have the proper follow-up, let's say. So now we have automations where there's follow-up emails automatically without me even thinking about it, that goes out to the customer. And a third time and a fourth time until he says, hey, I found somebody, or yeah, we're going to go with you, or we'll wait another year or whatnot. So that in itself, from my website, customers that can want to quote, the quote comes in and it's logged in directly into my system. So I don't lose them via email. I don't forget, look at my voicemail for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 2 days, right? It comes in automatically. So we have a system in place now that makes it much easier to be able to run the business on a daily basis, right? Mm-hmm. So we've automated all our payment processes. Cash flow was an issue at one point in time. Now it's no longer, because you know what? I got this for 30 days. I'm keeping my cash in my bank account until the 31st day, and then I'm paying that off. And it's much better. There's no worry about, Friday's coming. Do I have enough money to pay my payroll? Yes, you have, because you put that in place, systems in place. So it's all this, making sure that the customer gets his quote in time with the proper follow-up. Same thing for hiring, like when they apply for a job, you forgot to reach out to them, or there's no position right now, but maybe in 3 months there will be. So you do a follow-up call with them. It's all automated in that process. So there's things that you can do in the contracting world that you would not think that,
it's next level, right? It is totally next level. Okay?
Yeah,
Everybody think about this, like from a hiring perspective or a quoting perspective or whatever, but let's just say the hiring. Imagine somebody goes and they applied to your company. Okay. You're smart enough contractor. You're trying to be leading edge. You put an ad out on Indeed, someplace like that. And you get somebody to raise their hand. They raise their hand. Maybe it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on a Thursday, or even worse on a Friday. Now the clock starts ticking. The second that they hand in something, they're looking for a response. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now the clock's ticking. It's ticking. It's now, it's Friday. You got too busy on Friday. They put their app, you guys are probably not even using application forms, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. Okay. Instead of like, here's another resume that, I got my buddy Jimmy to fill in another country, or just copied online. But now that there's no response. Okay. The Friday goes past. You're like, I'll get back to them. Now it's Saturday. Time doesn't stop. It keeps ticking. Now it's Sunday. You get too busy because you got to kick things off. It's Monday. I got to set my week. You're probably not even doing Monday morning meetings, but anyways, you're probably listening in on this podcast going, what the fuck is Andrew talking about? I'm talking about systems, guys. I'm talking about things that Stephane uses and all the champion CEOs of Prop for Contractors use. Yeah. And Now it's Tuesday, but what's happened, Stephane? Right? He's gone and gone and gotten a response by your competition, or he's gotten a response from his current employer, and that opportunity is
gone.
Just like that.
Yep.
You miss the boat, and then you start the cycle all over again and again and again. People in today's world, especially in today's world, Stephane, tell me if I'm right or wrong, that people expect a response like ASAP.
Yep. I call them the microwave kids.
Tell us about that.
Well, the minute that you put it in, you have 2 minutes before it comes hot. It's the same thing. If you lose, if you don't give a response back, that means that you're not interested, that you're not professional enough to take the time to. So, and that being said, it doesn't have to be you physically or taking the phone and responding. If you automate things that say, okay, yeah, I'm going to send an email with a little thank you note, and we're out of the office and we'll get back to you right away, or something like that, it makes them feel fuzzy, right? It makes them feel good because you've taken the time to respond back. If they call, leave a message, and you don't talk to them until Tuesday on a Friday, you're going to lose them. So
absolutely,
that's the most important thing. And it's the same thing for the customers, right? That looking for quotes. They don't need the quote right away, but you have to acknowledge that, yes, thank you very much for your interest in my company. We are going to work on your quote. We'll give you a call back in a timely fashion. And they know that ball is rolling already, even though they sent it on a Friday night at 11 o'clock.
Imagine how you look versus your competition. So we're going to start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So Stephane, if there was one or two words of wisdom that you would, so you got a whole bunch of contractors. We've got, tens of thousands of contractors listening in on this podcast, and they're asking themselves, is this possible for me? I know that it is, but if there was one or two pieces of advice that you would give to a listener, what would you say to them?
You cannot afford not to do it. You cannot afford not to do it, because in time, continuing doing what you're doing, you will break down. I know that the company will fold. So you cannot afford not to do it. PFC for me has been the aha moment in my company. That's as simple as that. It's not because you're there, Andrew, or anything like that. If making 10 folds, I never thought that it would be possible. But take the chance. Take the chance. Baby steps, and take the chance. One, you cannot afford not to do it. And two, give yourself a chance.
I love that. That's great.
Give yourself a chance. Because if you don't give yourself a chance, you will not know at the other end what could have happened. As simple as that. You have to change the mindset that, no, it's not for me, or no, I can't do this, or no, I don't have the time. Well, you don't have the time now. If you take the plunge, I guarantee you will have time. You will have time to come back to you for your family, for your sports, for your recreational stuff, and run a business still. If I'm able to work a day job from 8 to 4, plus my $1.5 million business of roofing, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. But you have to put the effort in.
Yeah, you have to put the effort in. You have to... you guys, you have to believe in this. Okay. Stephane is gone before you. He's been there. He's been in your shoes. I've been in your shoes. Of course, I used to build automation lines, so I get the importance of automation. You can do it. And I don't care what kind of trade you are. These are like my last words of wisdom. I don't care what trade you are. I don't care where you're at in your contracting business. I mean, I care from the bottom of my heart, but it doesn't matter in the sense of whether or not this will work for you. It will work for you as long as you're willing to work it.
Yeah.
Right.
We've seen, Andrew, companies at $20 million, $50 million come to see Profit for Contractors, right? Because it is the way it should be. It's giving the tools that you need to succeed and getting your life back, getting time back, getting time back. Yeah.
All right. Awesome, dude. So listen, everybody, this was another no bullshit, like seriously, no bullshit podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. For contractors, for all of you listeners out there, do something with this, take a moment and reflect on, this podcast, and reflect on knowing that you're not alone, knowing that you can do this and knowing that there's others who have done it, before you in all different types of circumstances and all different types of contracting businesses in all different places of the world. You can do it as well. It's just a matter of raising your hand and taking the next step. So, Stephane, thanks again, brother.
Andrew,
as always, I'm gonna have you back a third time. How's that?
Third time's a charm, my friend.
It's three times a charm.
I might be retired at that point.
All right. Awesome, dude. Let's catch you on the flip side. Cheers, everybody.
Hey, rock stars! Thank you for watching the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. And if you're serious about growing and need help, click on the link below. Myself and my team would love to help and give you the necessary tools so you can take your contracting business to the next level. And remember, dominate, delegate, and deliver.